despite what all we know in terms of science, a lot of people still believe in different gods. Where do you fall in that? Are you a believer or no?
I am a believer. I believe in the one true God who came to earth as part human, as a human and man, Jesus, and he died for our sins so that we could have the opportunity to live forever with him in heaven.
Okay, so it's Christianity you're talking about?
Yes, Christianity.
Okay, so you believe in this God. Does that also mean that you know that this God exists?
Yes, I do believe that he exists.
No, not believe.
Do I know? Yes,
You know.
I know that he exists.
Just like you know that 1 + 1 = 2.
Yes.
How can you be so sure?
I have seen evidence that's proved his existence, and I have faith that it is true.
I like the first part. I don't like the second part. Let's go to the first part first.
Okay.
You say you've seen evidence. Well, give me some of this evidence.
There's evidence that the prophecies that are stated in the Bible have come true, and there's evidence that Jesus Christ was a man who lived on the earth. Science has proved that.
A man who lived, does science prove that he rose from the dead, for example?
Yes. I believe that there is science that has proved that.
Really? That he rose from the dead?
Yes.
You sure that isn't the second part of your answer, the faith part?
I believe my faith is true, and so I believe that that's true.
But if you have the evidence, do you need the faith? And I'm not just talking about with religion, but with anything. Don't you only need faith when you don't have evidence to back something?
I believe you need faith even when there is evidence, because there are going to be people constantly telling you that it's not true and trying to disprove what you have found evidence for. And so you have to have faith in what you have seen that has been proved true.
But isn't that sort of like putting a shield up? In other words, let's say that some of these people have some evidence which does legitimately contradict what you're believing, then shouldn't you be willing to change your beliefs based on evidence as opposed to just holding it up on faith like a brick wall?
I think you need to be willing to listen, but if you have evidence that backs up what you believe, then they also need to be willing to change their beliefs.
Okay. You say that science backs up Jesus rise from the dead. I don't know. I don't buy that one, but do you have anything solid, anything like tangible?
For backing up what?
The existence of this God.
The existence of God. I mean,
this God.
Of this God.
And the reason I'm specifying this God is because there are beliefs in a lot of different gods today, and there have been in the past gods that people don't even believe in anymore. So this is one particular God. So do you have any evidence to back up this particular God?
I believe that the Bible is an eyewitness account, and all of it is eyewitness accounts, which is all evidence that this God existed and does continue to exist. Whereas some other gods that people believe in are not the books that the people read and what they believe are not eyewitnesses and do not back up that evidence.
Isn't that hearsay, though? I mean, because you're talking about, when you say eyewitnesses, you're talking about you read from the book that they saw it. So they didn't even tell you themselves, but you read a book that another person wrote that said that another person saw it. Don't you see how? Let's look at it in a courtroom type of situation. Do you think this evidence will fly in court? Like, is this sort of like double, triple hearsay?
Well, I think that there's no evidence that does not prove the existence of this God. There is evidence that disproves the existence of other gods.
So that means that's true? I mean,
yes.
Do you have evidence to disprove leprechaun?
No.
Does that mean that they exist?
I don't have any.
Does that mean that they exist?
No.
So isn't the same logic then? You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah, I believe that there is evidence, and my faith backs that up. And you have to have evidence, but you also have to have faith in order to believe that anything is true. So if someone,
you need faith for that, you saying?
Yeah, you need faith because someone just one day someone just said 1 + 1 = 2. I mean, how do we know that that's not true? How do we know that it is true?
You can, if you hold it.
Well, you can prove it. You can prove it because someone said that this is 1 and this plus this is 2. Someone created the numbers one day.
Well, somebody created the words. They didn't create the numbers.
Yes, but I believe that God has always existed, and always will exist. And that the Bible is the account of his story and how he created the world.
And you could not be wrong. It's impossible for you to be wrong.
Yes.
You're really going to say that?
Yes, I am.
Don't you think that's being naive, being
No,
gullible?
I don't.
Be honest. I mean, I know you. I assume have you grown up in a Christian
Yes.
household? Okay, but that's probably where the beliefs come from.
Mm-hmm.
But now that you're growing up, you're sort of, if you're not on your own now, you'll still be on your own. Isn't it time to sort of start thinking out of the box? Just because your parents or your family told you something is true, obviously that doesn't mean it is true. You have millions of other families raising their kids up to believe in a different God,
right?
Or in some cases, maybe even leprechauns. So, I mean, if you would step out the box for a second and just, look from the outside looking in, how is your God any more valid than the Muslim God, the Hindu God, or leprechauns?
Well, my beliefs are not because that's what my family's raised me to believe. I have come to the determination on my own that that is what I believe in. And so I think if someone really sits down and does the research on every God that's ever been said to exist, they will find fallacies in every other story except the one true God that is in Christianity.
This guy, by the way, is it a he?
Yes.
Can he make 1 + 1 = 3?
Yes.
Really?
Yeah.
So he can make me put up one finger and another finger, and then there will be 3 fingers. I'm not talking about magically adding the third finger. I'm saying make the math work. He can do that. 'Cause I'm telling you that no being anywhere could do that. But you're saying that this God can do that.
This God can do anything.
Really?
Yes.
Do you have any idea how that would work?
I mean, I have faith. He knows things that are incomprehensible to humans because humans are not God and they're not on the same level as God, and they will never understand everything that God understands. They'll never be able to do everything that God is able to do. And so if God wanted 1 + 1 on your, you hold up 2 fingers and he says that's 3, then that's 3. He can make it happen.
So you don't know that one. So what you're telling me that you don't know that 1 + 1 = 2. In other words, it doesn't necessarily equal 2.
I know that according to human standards and what they teach you in math class, that 1 + 1 = 2.
But I'm talking about, push all that aside, about in terms of truth, in terms of what's true and what's not. Not in terms of how we learned it, but in terms of what's true and what's not. You don't know that 1 + 1 = 2. That's what you're telling me.
I'm telling you that that is what we've been taught as humans because that is what God told the first human to say, that 1 + 1 was 2. But if God said right now 1 + 1 is 2, 1 + 1 is 3, then I believe that's what would be true.
And then people who were in the war and they had every other finger chopped off on their right hand and they had every other finger chopped off on their left hand, when they put this finger up and that finger up, there'll be 3 fingers there, you're saying?
I'm not saying there'd be 3 fingers there.
But that's what you're saying. Like that would be 1 + Let's say, a person does exist that I just described. They only have 1 finger on the one hand, 1 finger on the other hand. And let's say, God, like you're saying, decides that he wants 1 + 1 = 3. You're telling me, you have to be telling me, because this is what it would mean, that person could lift up their 1 finger, that's 1, lift up their other finger, keep in mind, they only have 2 fingers in all, that's 2, and there will be 3 fingers there. I'm telling you that it's impossible, but you're saying that it is possible.
I never said there would be 3 fingers there. If that's the way God chose to do it, then he would make a 3rd finger appear. I believe he can do that.
But that's what I'm saying. You're talking about magically adding a 3rd finger. That's different. That wouldn't be math then. I'm talking about 1 + 1 = 3.
But you said a 3rd finger would magically appear.
No, that's what I'm asking you. Like, is that what you're telling me? That's how it would be done?
I'm saying it could be done that way.
Well, then that wouldn't be answered. That wouldn't be 1 + 1 = 3. That would just be God magically making a finger appear.
Right. If not, then if God wanted this finger and this finger to add up to 3, then it would. That's what
Without magically adding the 3rd finger.
Well, no, I mean, he would teach a human that, and they would teach everyone else that, and people who believed in God would believe that was true.
And you would really think that that's true, you think?
I think if there was evidence to prove that God had said that was true, but that has not
happened. You put
happened.
God above your own logic, above your own wisdom in your own mind. You put this idea of a God above all of them.
Yes.
Don't you think that is it possible that you're brainwashed, that you're just brainwashed? Because everything you're saying, I can take the word God out and I can put in, anything else, and it would still, if I can put in leprechaun, I can put in Muslim God, I can put in Hindu God, there would be no difference. In other words, you're making these statements, but you don't have any. You're not giving me anything to back them up. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
You're just saying God can do this, God can do that, God can do that. But do you have any proof to say that this is possible, or you just sort of blindly believe it because the book says it?
There is proof that God has produced miracles. That God has
have you seen any
done miracles. Have I seen any? I mean, sure, there are miracles every day when you wake up.
Of a miracle you say.
You wake up, that's a miracle. You didn't have to wake up today.
Waking up is a miracle.
I mean, anything's a miracle. Someone being cured of cancer could be a miracle. Someone being there's no scientific explanation, but someone is cured of a disease. That's a miracle, and that has happened.
Could that just be that we just don't know how they were cured? I mean, because when you make statements, and the reason I'm not trying to, by the way, I'm not trying to mess with you about it. I just like to question people and get them thinking. And the reason I'm sort of questioning you, because you seem intelligent, but keep in mind that every one of these statements you're making, when you say that something is true, you're automatically ruling out every other possibility. And I just think, is that a smart thing to do? You know, the way I look at everything on a scale imagine a scale that goes from 0 to 100. Okay, 0 equals things I know isn't true. 100 equals things that I know are true. For me, most things in life fall somewhere in between. You're putting all these things you're saying up at 100, and I don't know how you could possibly do that.
I mean, that's where the faith comes in. You have to have, there is evidence to back things up, but you also have to have the faith that that is true.
And then it would make it true.
Yes, if you believe that God did these things, you have evidence to back things up, but you have to have faith in a God that you can't see.
But which is it though? The evidence or the faith?
You have to have both.
Both? Is it a 50-50 balance or what?
I mean...
And I don't see why you would need faith if you have evidence.
Because you're not going to have evidence for every single thing.
So you don't mean proof, you're saying some evidence.
There is evidence, there is proof, but you have to have faith because faith is the backbone of any sort of religion.
So if you have faith in leprechauns, does that mean that they exist in any way?
No, because you also have to have proof.
So you have to have...
If you have no proof in faith, just faith, that doesn't make something true.
So if you see a pot of gold, let's say at the end of a rainbow, let's say, that's the evidence you have. You don't see the actual leprechaun. So you have that, and for the rest of it, you just have the faith that the leprechaun is there. Does that mean that the leprechaun exists? That's some evidence, right?
If you have evidence.
Well, you have the pot. You have a pot of gold at the end of it. You see a rainbow, you go to the end of it, and you see a pot of gold down there. And let's just add in some little green shoes, okay? You just see you see the green shoes by themselves. You see the pot of gold at the end of the rainbow, but you don't see the actual leprechaun. So you have a little evidence, you know, but for the rest, you have faith. According to your logic, that means that the leprechaun exists.
Yes.
You're saying it's true.
Yes. I'm saying that if you believe that that's true, I mean, some people, scientists will probably not tell you that that's true.
But you would say that it's true.
But if a person
told that to you, say, hey, I got this evidence, I got the pot of gold, I got the green shoes, for the rest, I got faith. You telling me you saying it's true.
I'm saying I would research it and decide if I believed it was true. But faith is important.
That's all you need, though. You need some evidence and the rest faith. That's what you said for your God. So I tried to give you the same exact thing for the leprechaun example.
I mean, I think there is proof to disprove the existence of leprechauns.
I don't think there is. You really think there is?
I feel like there probably is. I have not tried to research the existence of leprechauns, so I cannot give you an educated answer on that. But
all right. Anything you want to get off your chest? Any last words, comments, anything like that? And I like to question people. I sort of like to get people thinking. You know, I appreciate you taking your time out.
Sure.
Anything else you want to say or get off your chest? Advice?
I mean, I think science is constantly going to try to prove that God does not exist. And that's why you have to have faith. You have to have faith that what you believe is true is true. And I believe that God is the one true God. And whatever science backs that up because there is evidence, then I will definitely account that. But faith, to me, is the most important thing.
If I die never believing in him, will I go to hell?
Yes.
So he can't, or he chooses not to prove himself to me, huh?
He didn't choose not to prove himself to you. I believe that there were evidences of him everywhere, and you chose not to believe in him.
No, I chose not to believe in him.
Yes.
That seems pretty weak then, like a pretty weak God if he can't convince a mere human being of this existence. Isn't he all
I think
powerful?
he puts things. I believe that he puts things and people in your life, and if you choose not to believe in him, then you will go to hell.
I don't think it's a choice though. Isn't it because I have a brain to question things? Isn't that why I don't believe?
Yes, because you've chosen not to believe.
So I could if I wanted to, I could snap my fingers and believe in this guy, you're saying? That's the choice you're saying?
No, that's not how you get to heaven. To get to heaven, you have to believe that he came to earth and died for your sins. You have to accept that, and you have to confess your sins.
But you're saying it's a choice that I could make.
Yes, it's a choice that you could
So I can
make.
snap my fingers and just do that. I'm telling you I can't, but you're saying that I can't.
It's a heart change. Just saying I believe in God is not necessarily what it takes. Your whole life has to change. Your heart has to change.
So I'm incorrect when I say I need proof. I'm incorrect. I can just do it by choice. You're telling me.
What do you mean when you need proof?
Well, I'm telling you that the only way I could believe in your God or anybody else's God is to have proof of their existence. You're telling me that that's not the case. All I need is a choice that I can make to believe. I'm telling you that's not true. But you're telling me that that is true.
Yes, I'm saying that it's a choice you have to make, and you change your life to reflect that choice. And there is evidence to back it up, and you can do research and you can find that evidence. And that will further prove that you made the correct choice in choosing to believe in God.
All right. Any last words, comments, or advice?
I think that's it.